hell is that?
I don't know. It sounds like rain.
I know, it kind of freaked me out. It's like, what the heck? Look around.
They didn't tell us anything about that. Okay.
I know.
So, all right. So,
Hola.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Spanish. I've been told I have a Madrid accent sometimes. Pretty impressive.
What's your name in Spanish?
Jerry.
Oh, okay. And we are the DVOPS team.
Word.
So sorry,
it's been a long morning.
It has been a very long morning. We've been working Bagels and Brew here at the Warrior Healing Center, and it was a great showing. A lot of organizations that we were able to network with.
Exactly.
A lot of our veteran clients. We kind of got updates on them. Mm-hmm. We were able to kind of let them know what was going on as far as jobs, and then the food was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. but yeah, it was kind of it was just interesting because normally, since COVID, it's slowly been increasing, and I know last time they did it outside. So what was awesome was that inside this time. It helps like almost 100, but yeah, it was kind of neat, and we gave a tour. A friend of mine and a friend of his who's visiting, and it's just kind of funny. I get a kick out of it every time I've seen you give a tour or whatever. It just wow, the whole time. They're so surprised, and so if you guys don't know what we're talking about, like Kevin's saying, welcome, but the Warrior Healing Center it's located 1838 Paseo San Luis. If you want to come on down and get a tour of the facility or whatever, either ask for Kevin or myself, or ask for the staff, and they can kind of tour you around. Or if you just want to come in on a Thursday when they're doing bagels and brews, it doesn't seem like much. But when you come in and you start seeing, it's very impressive. It really is. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
It was really, everyone was genuinely happy to see each other,
Well, we kind of talked about that, and this is just my 2 cents. I think they're nice. Everybody's friendly. It's like, how are you? Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. It's like long lost friends haven't seen each other, and they pick up where they left off at.
Yeah,
and this was kind of neat. It really was. So we have some stuff we want to talk about. Kind of I got sidetracked last week, but before I get going, I just want to say thank you for watching us. If you ever want to leave comments, please do so. Kevin and I try to be very informative on veteran issues, how to apply for employment, things like that. And if this is your first time watching us, we're both disabled veteran outreach. We work under the Disabled Veteran Outreach Program. There we go. Spit it out. We're veteran employment specialists, and our job is to assist veterans in breaking down barriers to employment. I always tell people it could be as simple as maybe just needing a resume, a little bit of training, or God forbid, more serious. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for work or just have questions, come on down, talk to us. Monday through Friday, either myself or Kevin are down at the Warrior Healing Center, 1838 Paseo San Luis, or on Mondays or Fridays, one of us is at 2600 East Wilcox Drive at the old Sierra Vista Hospital.
At Arizona at Work.
Yes, I gotta say Arizona at Work.
Yes.
Don't want to upset people. Also, if you reside in other parts of Cochise County or Graham and Greenlee, we have our affiliate offices in Douglas. They are on 515 East 7th Street, or their phone number is 520-364-8906. Or if you're in Safford, we have 2 locations. We have 333 North 8th Avenue, Arizona at Work. Number is 928-428-3016, or our affiliate office at 1910 West Thatcher Boulevard. And, if you go in there and you want to talk to one of us, just tell them you're trying to get in touch with Jerry or Kevin, and we'll kind of take it from there. One of the employment specialists will have you do a veteran priority service. They'll send it to us, and then we'll reach out to you from there. Boom. That was pretty. But, yeah. God, I hate saying that. That's a lot of stuff. So one of the things we wanted to talk about today, and I just want to go, Janet told you you're pretty? Has she told you that lately?
Oh, yeah, every day.
Okay, I just want to check because, I get concerned because I know that's a big deal,
You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait till tomorrow.
I do.
Because I get better looking every day.
That's right, and you're kind of a big deal. So, last week we talked about transitioning. And just to recap, I know when I transitioned off active duty, I think I did everything wrong. It was at the beginning of the war. You were brought back long enough to do your briefings, if you want to call them briefings, and there's the door. But things have gotten a lot better over the years. And one of the things kind of wanted to go over today, we wanted to talk about is resumes. And we have what we call military crosswalk / Owneth online, or Owneth online / military crosswalks. To me, a resume is kind of an interesting discussion. And last week, I thought it was funny. Each one of us, those three of us, have a different resume that we prefer. And when it comes to a resume, I think everybody has a freaking opinion. They really do. And it's funny. A lot of people take a lot of pride on their resumes, and they should, don't get me wrong. But it's just kind of funny. And there's times I'll look at a resume and it's like, oh my God, it's
not going to do it.
It's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's go straight to the chalkboard, if you will. So with that said, I'm not very prepared. I apologize. So there's three main types of resumes. You have a chronological, functional, and a combination resume. And we're going to go over those today and kind of go into Owneth online military crosswalk. One of the things, so it's kind of funny, in the military world, we have our own language, and we have our own, we use acronyms, we use abbreviations, all this other fun stuff. And one of the things I tell people, when you exit the military, not everybody understands what 88 Mike 30 is. No. I don't know why.
No. Yeah, you need to spell it out. And
why? Shouldn't they know what an 88 Mike 30 is?
Well, they should.
They should.
But
what was your job
I was a 1 Charlie 072 aviation resource manager.
Nice.
So administrator.
Yes. It's pretty badass.
Not even airfield operations.
Right.
Administrator, or could have been, or a dispatcher.
Yeah. Because basically, in a nutshell, that's kind of what you did, but with aircraft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You so was it hard for you or challenging to take that and put it into a civilian resume when you retired?
The biggest challenge was I had to clarify the impact, because the impact was of anything I did, whether it was typing it or scheduling it. When I scheduled the test missions, it was basically the result of the test, combat effectiveness. Well, if I'm going to apply for an administrative assistant position, I don't think they care about the combat effectiveness or the outcome of that. So now the outcome has to be maybe saving money, or creating a program that made something more efficient. But, they could care less how many rounds were expended due to the airspace that I coordinated in the aircraft.
And I think what's kind of fun, some people might be saying, why are you guys talking about resumes? That's so boring. And it probably is.
I hate resumes.
But I like resumes. I'm not going to lie. However, a lot, and I tell people when you do a resume, that is the history of you. That is your work history. That is everything you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because one of the things I hear, well, Jerry, I was told to only have a 1-page resume, or you can't go by past 2 pages,
Mm-hmm.
which they're not right, but they're not wrong. And so I tell people, it's kind of unfair, especially like with you, 20 plus years in the Air Force. How do you put that onto 1 page? I mean, to me, it's kind
Very
of
carefully.
yeah, very carefully, but in defense of you, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, but in as a future employee, you know, I'm not writing my own paycheck.
And that's
So
true.
the employer says, I need this in an employee. My job is to write my resume to show the employer I will be able to do that.
Okay, so now with that said,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of brings in, so for you, what type of resume would you use and why?
I actually, I've never done a combination resume, but I do use functional and chronological.
I do combination. I
Uh-huh.
mean, and the reason why I do that is as a veteran and
Mm-hmm.
especially retired, I feel we're very adaptable and
Mm-hmm.
we're very good at change.
Yeah.
Well, some people are,
Mm-hmm.
but so I like to show on my resume, hey, I've been a truck driver, I've been a case manager, I've
Mm-hmm.
movement control, I've done all sorts of stuff. So in my opinion, that shows I can adapt very easily to whatever job you give me.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say easily because being a case manager was since I've been a civilian was probably the most difficult job I've had to change to. And the reason being, I am not a techie guy, and I would always be yelling, "Kevin, help!" But and I think I overthought a lot of it.
Yeah.
So and honestly, the hardest thing I have sometimes case notes. I that to me is challenging. But anywho, so I could understand why you would use maybe a functional or
Well, okay, so I just did a functional resume with the veteran that we were working with, and here's the reason why. So his last 10-year work history had nothing to do with he wants to work at Home Depot.
mm-hmm.
So that is still retail. However, you know, they do like to hire people that know a bit about tools,
Right.
construction, whatever. So what I did was I highlighted his work experience and his skills, but he's also been retired for a little while. So we focus less on the
And kind of had a
employment
huge
history.
gap.
Yeah, so we had the huge gap. Of course, I felt that he was retired. But so I moved that focus of that employment history, the most recent, down to the very bottom because I wanted the employer or human resources to say, okay, the skills that I'm looking for, check, 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 and get to the bottom. Okay, he was retired. Okay, he hadn't done this. Well, I want to interview him, so when I interview him, I can do a little more of a knowledge check.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I don't think there's not one wrong way to do a resume, but I could see the importance of doing, like, say, a targeted resume or
Mm-hmm.
functional, whatever. And it's like, like for me, a chronological resume, you know, it allows the hiring manager to see how easily you progress through your career. Or it puts your most relevant work experience at the top where it'll be seen first by recruiters and employers. Whereas, like Kevin was saying, with a functional resume, it shows it to focus on your relevant professional experience, your skills,
Yeah.
rather than everything. So in Kevin's client's case, that was probably the right thing to do, because in some cases, if you have a gap in employment and say you've been retired, that's hard to fill that gap unless you've been volunteering, things along that line, which volunteer work looks really good on a resume. Excuse me. So by focusing strictly, so say you're going to apply at Home Depot and you've been a mechanic, you retired as a mechanic, so it probably would be a good idea to focus strictly on what it is that you retired out of. to show them, hey, I've got the experience. Well, you have a huge gap in employment while I was retired, and I'm just trying to get out of the house right now. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration when it comes to resumes, and it's just interesting. I don't think I always tell people, if your resume works, it's neat, professional, and it gets you to the interview, you're doing something right on your resume.
Go with your bad self. That's what he always says.
That's what I say. Go your bad self. I got that from a platoon sergeant a long time ago. Sergeant First Class Corchado, if you're out there, you're awesome. He could cuss. Wow.
Yeah.
Words I learned from him.
Yeah.
It was impressive. But did you say these? I can't. It's the story for another time. But anyway, Teresa, I'm trying to be good. You're an awesome manager. If you're watching, you are the bomb. So how would I? So I guess my question: what if you want to change industries? How would you go from, say, being a mechanic, or no, use you? You worked in office your whole career. Now you don't want to do that.
I don't know why anyone.
Yeah, I know.
That,
it's just I've learned that being icky is not cool.
Yeah, to do that, I think you would really have to highlight those skills to that employer, and then find what's important that's similar in the office. So if let's say I wanted to work in a factory, right? Well, okay, safety is important. Following company policies, OSHA standards. Well, you also do that in administrative positions in the military. You know, you have your additional duties. I had an equipment account. So now we're talking attention to detail. So you take those similar items or bullets and you go ahead and put them in there. But there's some that are not going to relate.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, if I coordinated 50 aircraft in a day, well, that may not be applicable to a factory setting.
And I think that's interesting because I see this a lot. You know, a lot of people, you ask them, and I get a kick out of this. So what'd you do every day? Well, I just went to work. I got up, I went to work, I drove my truck, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you look at it, you do a lot more. And I think one of the things I know from my experience, especially once you become an NCO, like Kevin was saying, you pick up additional duties. And those additional duties are very critical to your resume, in my opinion. So say you're a key custodian, or you were the EEO, the SHARP rep, or you did retention, the re-enlistment NCO or whatever. Those are very critical because if you look at those, say you're, being an 88 Mike and I get out of the military, but I want to work in an office. Well, hold on. I did work in an office. Maybe just did it part-time. What if I was the SHARP or the re-enlistment person or all that other brouhaha? That, to me, that's very critical. And it's kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, when you're an NCO, the more personnel you manage, now those are you have a lot of administrative skills.
Yeah,
you have to document
that.
Yeah,
exactly. And when you look at it, it's like, holy crap, I did a lot of stuff. And especially, from an E5 or E6 perspective, of course, the more you progress, the more responsibilities you get. And it's just amazing when you look at your NCOERs, it's like, there's no way I did that. But that NCOER reflects everything that you've done. And it's super important to have access to those NCOERs or OERs. Now, if you were just a E4 below, keep copies of your counseling statements, especially if they're positive. You may not want to keep those negative ones, but the counseling, that monthly counseling, it's important to keep a copy of that because you may need that information when it comes time to write in your resume when you get out. And I think the biggest challenge, like I said earlier, is going from military to civilian and translating that terminology. And that's, I felt like a fool because I just literally recently learned about military crosswalk. I was playing around one day on Owneth, and I believe I love Owneth. It's the cheat sheet. It is so helpful. And I think what was kind of funny, I was, and I'm gonna throw myself under the bus with my manager, and I felt like there was a stupid moment. We were looking at Owneth online. I was doing a resume, or it was something like that. You were working virtual, and she is like, "That's all the bullet comments." I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I found." She's like, "Did you hit the plus or the minus sign?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Hit the minus sign, idiot." She didn't call me an idiot, but, and I was like, "Wow, that just opened up a bunch of stuff."
Yeah.
but it's really interesting when you go into Owneth. I think it's on the first page of Military Crosswalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you'll do, you'll click on that, and you'll put in your branch of service, your job title. And in some cases, I've learned there's some job titles that don't really translate from military to civilian. So if you were able to, like as an example, I prefer using the bullet comments for a truck driver versus for military, the civilian. A little bit, to me, it's worded better. But anywho, there are always going to be certain jobs that we do in the military that's kind of hard to translate that into your civilian occupation. Like infantry, artillery.
Yeah.
Maybe become an engineer. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
And the other great thing about Owneth that I love is, if you're a kid, 13 or 14 years old, I believe you should be aware of Owneth.
Mm-hmm.
You're dreaming. You go to the very top, you search, and what does it take? I want to be a nurse. And you type in nurse, and boom, it tells you all those duties, which we use those duties for resume building. It tells you how long you're going to be on your feet, how much time you're communicating with other people, how much computer time, some of your the personality traits that are recommended.
Exactly.
And then it'll go down and it'll start talking about salaries. Okay, so what's the requirement to become a nurse?
Mm-hmm.
What certifications are out there? What education? And you can go in and you can actually find where that education and training is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, boom.
And you bring up an interesting point, and I know for me, when it's kind of imperative, I think, where I'm at today versus when I enlisted like an idiot to become a truck driver in the Army, hauling ammunition and stuff, is maybe I should have done labor market information, or maybe they should be teaching that information to you in school, because a lot of time we join the military, the recruiter said I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. Let's watch the video. What do you mean I'm going to be driving a tank? That's so awesome. Or no one.
There's a website that they use in Arizona for the high school kids.
Yeah.
And I can't remember it, and I promise I will get it. It's in my favorites on my computer. And what it does is when they start doing that dreaming,
mm-hmm.
They also go in and it starts talking about, do you want to own a home? How many automobiles do you want to earn? And then you start doing that cost of living analysis versus the labor market versus your career. And I promise on the next podcast, I will get that information out, because to me, that's very important. It's not just for the state of Arizona.
No,
it's nationwide. So, if you're going to school, and I had a veteran who was audio video, but more along music industry.
Right.
And couldn't afford his own studio or equipment, and he moved to Sierra Vista, Arizona. And when I looked at the labor market, it was New York and LA.
Right.
So, yes, he could make that money, but he didn't want to live in New York or LA.
Right.
So now what do you do? You just have all that education. Now what do you do with it?
And you're right. And I think it's really interesting is that, if you're only going to do your time, do your 4 years or 8 years or whatever, and you want to be all badass and high speed and jump out of airplanes, and I don't know why you want to do that, but that's okay. You want to do all that high speed stuff, and then you're going to go to school, get your degree, or you want to be a cop, whatever, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I think it's really important that you start, if you you start doing your homework, like you're saying, all that, as we call it, labor market information, which I think is very imperative. So you're going to get out and say you work, just say human resource. And, in Sierra Vista, in most places, there's probably going to be an abundance in that type of career fields, whether federal, state, county, city, whatever. But if you're going to be working in the career field, as an example, in the trucking industry, why would you want to live in Sierra Vista? You might have to move to Benson, where there's truck companies, or Tucson, or Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what's interesting about Owneth. It helps you. It's a good place to start to realize what direction you need to go, whether you're putting the information on the resume or you're just trying to find out what does a truck driver do every day.
Yeah.
So it's to me, it's a neat website, and it's really neat place to start doing your homework.
Well, and what I love about Owneth is, we were just talking about this earlier. I write resumes for truck drivers. I know stuff goes inside the back of the truck. I know that they use a radio. I know they have to follow rules and regulations. I do not know how to drive that truck. I don't know half of the coupling, uncoupling, the terminology, and all that. I go to Owneth online, and it's all right there. So I can write that truck driver resume. And so when you're sitting there and you sit down and start writing your resume, that is when you're going to have a brain freeze.
Mm-hmm.
So why not go to a website that's going to jar your memory? Because the more frustrated you are when you start building that resume, the less effective that resume is going to be.
Exactly.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's those guys.
Are you guys on?
Yeah, we're almost done.
Oh, sorry.
Is that a hint? Are you almost done?
With Combat Crypto.
Yeah, I know. Those guys.
Let me introduce you to these signs you can put on the door.
Oh, wow. That's right. We
Wow.
forgot to put the recording in
That's
session
why he was
sign
an
up.
officer.
Are
An
you
academy.
done yet? Are you done yet?
I think that's a hint.
I know, right? Next show is coming up.
Yeah, we were told to get off.
Yeah.
Are you done yet? I get the hint. but then,
We forgot to sign.
yes, we forgot to sign.
Oh,
Well. What are you gonna do? I'm an NCO. But anywho, before I forget, so if you're interested in, looking for employment or just want to come down, one of the things we're going to have you do is go to ArizonaJobConnection.gov. It is their statewide database for training, employment. So it's a really nice website to kind of get some ideas on what's in our local area. So I highly encourage you to, before you come see us, go to the website, register, because we're going to have you do it anyway. So politely, we'll ask you to do it. So, but yeah, go to ArizonaJobConnection.gov, kind of get an idea what's in our local area. If you can't really find what you're looking for, of course, you're more than welcome to come down and ask us. I'm kind of brain fart today. It's been a long day. I apologize.
Yes,
yeah. But yeah, so we just wanted to kind of go over today. It wasn't going to be too terrible long. Kind of going over the 3 different types of resumes that are out there that we encourage you to look at. There's really no wrong resume. There's a purpose for each one, and you kind of decide which one you want to utilize. It doesn't matter. But I do tell you that be open to some constructive criticism. Our job is to try and get you employed. We want you working. So, we may offer some ideas, some little, things that we have seen, what works, doesn't work. And like I said, we're just trying to help you. We want you working and all that other fun stuff. But yeah, so next week, anything you want to add on resumes? Pretty easy peasy.
No, easy peasy. We also have templates for all of them. So
when you go into Arizona Job Connection, it's what's cool about it. You can have up to 5 different resumes in the system. And if you don't want to use the resume builder in AJC, the new AJC, you're able to upload your resume in there. And what's really cool, if you build it, you're able to download either into a PDF or into a Word document. And I encourage people, build the resume in Arizona Job Connection, then download it, and then we can change it around. To me, it's a little bit easier that way. And I love doing that. And plus kind of gives you, because a lot of people have issues building a resume. And what's nice about AJC, it uses Owneth Online. It does a lot of the thinking for you. You just got to select. It does the objective statement. It does the qualifications, even the bullets. And it all gets pulled out of Owneth Online anyway. And that's what I love about it. And then at the end, this part, I'm not a big fan of the resume builder, but I love the idea of being able to download it and then rearrange it. And that's just my personal opinion. Oh, huh. Are we done yet? Oh, I see.
Are we done yet?
Are you done yet? No, we're not. We're going to be in here all afternoon.
He must be excited about his show.
Yeah, I know. Crypto. But so yeah. So if you have questions, come on down. Kevin, do this with a straight face now. What was that from the Warriors? Or you got to get ready to rumble.
Oh, the West Side.
Yeah,
Story.
West Side. Yeah.
You know it's going down when people start doing that.
Yeah, it's about to get real. It's pretty serious. Yeah. So yeah, if you got questions, if you just want us to review your resume, a second set of eyes or whatever, just come on down, and we're more than happy to sit with you guys. Just an FYI for next week, we have Angelica Hernandez from Goodwill. Mm-hmm. We're going to be doing a show prior with one of our DVOPS out of Javier.
Yeah.
That works with a lot of the Native American veterans, the tribes up and around the general Tucson area.
Yeah.
And I love listening to him, the complexities and all that other fun stuff. So if you guys want, just we'll be back at 1300 or 1 o'clock. I feel more comfortable with 1300.
I like 1300.
I think it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome. Could be back 1300, not 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like tea time or something. Yeah.
As long as it's not like 0400.
I know, it's all God. Which I've been going to Yuma next month, I think. And I think we have to do that 0400 dinghy bobber, which I dread more than life itself. But I enjoy hanging out with my manager all day. It's awesome. Even if it's 0400 in the morning. You're amazing, Teresa. She always brings watermelon for the trip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Really cool container. It's pretty
That's
awesome.
Cool.
Are we done yet? No. Okay. So, but anywho, thank you guys. We really appreciate the comments, except from certain people who are asking if we're done yet. I think I get the hint. See the serious look? It's pretty. I almost peed myself. That was pretty intimidating.
We look scary.
Yeah, we do. We're a big deal. But anywho, so appreciate the comments. If you guys, like I said, come on down. Warrior Healing Center. Or we're at our office at 2600 and just ask for Kevin and Jerry.
Yep.
Until then, deuces. Peace out. Now we're done, Tim.